This is the Reflector Reflections podcast. My name is Annie. Join me as we journey around the world talking with fellow human design reflectors and friends as us, all experience and navigate our unique design. This episode today is a very quick one. It's just a jump in because I've been very aware of our reflector window that's happening for the first time on the 28th of August. And I wanted to just share a little bit about that and what that means, or well, we know what it means. It means that there's going to be reflector babies born, but just share a little bit on that. So, and show you in ways if as best I can. So as I said, on the 28th of August at 12, it's actually 12:42, but I always round up to 12:43 universal time, so GMT 0, we are going to have our first window, a reflector window of 11 hours. So as I said, during that 11 hours, we will have babies born. Now, you'll need to probably do a time zone conversion for you because, again, I'm working in UTC time. I've converted to my time zone, but you may choose to do that yourself. So I am a very curious person and I like to know how things work. And you tell them if you're fine, but I really do. I'm very practical. I like to see it. I like to know why. And throughout all these years, one of the questions I asked myself and the internet is, what actually is that? Like, a lot of people talk about, well, what is a reflector? But what happens to make a reflector chart? Now, we all know that there's this cosmic dance of planetary alignments that happen, which is how we get our body graph, right? But I had to really go in and have a look. So when we are born, I'm dumbing this down a little bit here, but when we are born in human design, it has that snapshot. That is our time of birth. And that is the black side of our chart, which is that personality side. That's what happens. All of those planets, that's where ching ching, a nice picture was taken to what was happening in the transits when we were born or took our first breath. The red side of the chart, which is the design chart, happens roughly 88 days prior to birth. So that's another one of those ching-chings. So 2 pictures are taken, but one's in the past and one's in the present. So you'll hear a lot in human design, or people will say, well, I'm a reflector on my personality side, on the black side. Well, my personality is a reflector. Or they'll be the other way. Well, my design type is a reflector. And they mean well, but they're not reflectors. And this, I suppose, shows us, we hear all that we're 1%, we're rare. The reasons we're rare is because of these 2 snapshots simultaneously, though 88 days in the past, taking place where no channels are created. So besides having that complete openness with the lineup of the planets or lack of lineup, so when we are born and our time enters into the body graph, same as with astrology, it looks to those planetary alignments. And as I said, that's that snapshot. Ching, ching. This is what was happening with the Earth. This is what was happening with the Sun. This is what was happening with Jupiter, Venus, Mars, you name them. All of these were sitting in a certain area. Astrology does the same, but it just works on this. Human design has this unconscious side. So because I'm practical, I wanted to show you what I mean by this or how it works, because it's fascinating when we can see it and visualize it. So I've made this little video this morning. I've taken some screenshots projected forward using the Reflector Times document, which I can share as well. So tomorrow was a day of recording this. So on the 28th, so let's use this as an example. On the 28th of August, as I said, at 12:43 UTC, one small shift happens. One small shift will happen in the planetary transits that shift the energy from the mental projector type to a reflector type. And that one change is the unconscious, or the red design moon shifts from gate 64 to 47. So one small thing that just frees up that channel and whites out that center because the gates aren't connected via the channel. In September, we have 2 windows. We have on the 7th and the 8th, and we have a couple more in December. And I just want to share with you a little bit of these and how these subtle shifts occur, heralding us in more reflectors. So a lot of the times when we are looking at this, well, for example, using what I just said before about the mental projector. So we're having this period of time where the mental projector is, that's the energy. I'm just going to share I'm going to show you. Showing. Okay. So you can see here, this is what's happening during tomorrow. So we have this mental projector and the channel here, the 6447. So the 64, the unconscious moon, is sitting in that, which is defining the ajna and the crown. What happens then is we shift, the gate moves to gate 47, and so that frees up these spaces. Suddenly, you have a reflector. 11 hours is that window, by the way. So if I use another example, the next example here is we can see that the design sun, again, we're working on the red side, the design sun and earth are moving gates. So if we look at what's happening here, the energy of this on the 7th of September. I got all my days wrong here. Yeah. So on the 7th of September, the significant change here is the design sun and earth is moving our energy from a 4-6 emotional manifester because it has that motorized solar plexus to the throat. And that we relinquish here. And so we then move to a 4-1 reflector. One small change, just like that. Dun, dun, dun. So on the 8th of September is another example. We are moving from a 5-1 self-projected projector. So show you here, where's this 5-1 self-projected projector? You can see we've got this channel defined here, linking the G center to the throat. But as soon as the transit shifts, which is the unconscious moon, it shifts to gate 49, and we're unlinking and a 5-1 reflector. So bit of fun to track through these kind of cycles and honor how birth time matters, or feel into that really close energy that you may have been born, for example, using the 28th of August, you might have been born at like 12:26 PM UTC time. You are exactly 2 minutes away from being a reflector, or vice versa. So it's strange how these things work. And I guess it's another one of those examples of the spectrum of sometimes being very mindful of how close you are. And a lot of the really good software that you use now will actually flag and say, oh, there's a change that's happened here in your chart. Are you sure? Like it gives you like examples of what could have shifted. And because the moon shifts the fastest, we're looking at pretty much 2 changes at the same time. We're always looking at the unconscious moon and its gate shifting throughout that 3 months prior to our birth. And we're looking at at how quickly the moon is shifting, which can be anywhere from 8 to 11 hours. Like it shifts quite quickly. So generally it is the moon, but it could be a retrograde or something like that. It's created channels. So anyway, there's a little bit of a fun fact today. It's also really fun and exciting for me because I am a birth and postpartum doula, and this year, I actually have 2 births, and they will possibly fall in these windows. And so I'm a little bit excited just because, anybody who works, I think, in the space that I do, we're running charts. I mean, you're probably running charts on your friends and family and everybody anyway. But, I'm always trying to predict, just for funsies, trying to predict, when baby's going to be born, roughly what type they're going to be, what profile. It's like a little game I play with myself. And then obviously as soon as they are born, just so, yeah, I might get to, midwife in some beautiful reflector babies, which would just end this year so beautifully. Anyway, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon.